I just filmed this, so basically today I wanted to teach you guys how to use colored pencils a little bit better. This is what everything ends up like, so let's go back to the beginning and I'll show you how to do that. So I've set up my desk in this way. The whole point of this video is so it's like geared towards people who don't have very much experience in art, because I feel like this is useful. Like, everyone has colored pencils. These colored pencils are all ones, like I gathered ones from when I was a kid and not necessarily like really good ones, because I figured that you guys won't have things like Prismacolor, but these types of Prismacolor colored pencils, they're like professional grade apparently. I touched it super lightly to the paper, but the Prismacolors are really good. That is my favorite, but I figured that a lot of you don't have access to like these super expensive pencils, but then like the Rose Art collections and the Crayola and stuff are just pretty cheap in comparison. So that is what we're going to be using today. Oh my god, wait, look at, there's an ant and my dogs are barking. This needs to be solved today. Go on the floor. Oh my god. I just wrinkled him. Okay, peeps, I have fixed all of those problems. I forgot to mention you should get a pencil sharpener. I mean, this is like the most beat up pencil sharpener ever and I need to empty it right now. I'm basically using all this stuff assuming that this is what you guys have at home, so you don't have to go out and buy anything. I also have this scratch piece of paper because you probably want to check and see what color exactly it looks like on the paper if you're going to use any of these colored pencils. How softly or hard you have to press in order to get like a good color. Oh yeah, by the way, you can print this out. There's a link in the description and you can color it along with me if you would like. Firstly, we're gonna just like pick a couple of colored pencils. Some of your favorite colors. These are not my favorite colors, but I just picked them out. So if you look at colored pencils closely, it's like really important to know your tools. So that's why I'm telling you to check out what they're made of. If you feel this like top part and notice it doesn't like come off on your finger or anything, that's because these colored pencils are pretty waxy. So you want to use them like they're waxy, and that they, after a certain amount of coloring and layering on them, they're not going to layer anymore because they just like, there's not enough tooth like texture in the paper to hold up with it, especially printer paper. But I figured you guys would be using printer paper, so that's what we're gonna do. I've already made a stupid mistake, so you can learn from me. I just found like the back of a drawing pad because I'd rather have this texture than this like grainy table texture. Colored pencils really pick up everything that's underneath it, so every time I go to start a drawing, I'm always thinking of the bottom layers first. And that is exactly what you have to do with colored pencils, which is why like learning colored pencils might later help you when you try to learn something like painting, where you have to layer everything on top of itself. If you look at someone's skin tone, like my skin tone even, it's like, it's not one texture all around. Like there's some redder parts, there's some orangier parts, there's green in here. Like on the veins especially, there's like bluish green and like purples. So when you're choosing colors, you probably want to choose like everything. It's gonna have a little bit of every color in it, but I would say for sure get some type of orange. Some of you might have a peach color for skin tone, but not everybody is white. So that doesn't always come in handy. And like some of them are named skin tone. I'm like, okay man, probably want a little bit of yellow, but not a lot. A green, but I think maybe like a blue green, like this aqua green might be good. And then always like a sky blue is fine. Yeah, that's like a pinkish color, which I think is good for like his type of skin tone. So, and then like a couple of browns which are already made for you, so it's a lot easier. Oh, and this one's called Raspberry. I'm gonna keep that for our pinkish tones. But assuming you guys don't have all that, I'm just gonna choose like the basics. Like this one's violet, and we have the sky blue, and then light green and dark green, a brown, and yellow, and orange. Wow, that is a disgusting pencil. But this is a Crayola, and it's an orange color, so yeah. So like, I'm not like, this would be probably much harder. Like that's as hard as it can go. But you want to start with tones like this, where it's just like, you're just barely like brushing the surface. You're giving a base layer so that it has a nice foundation to it, like a nice undertone color. We're just gonna put a few base colors under his skin tone, so let's choose like, this is gonna seem weird, but let's choose a green and a blue and like that pinkish color right here. If you don't have that, then use like a combination of like super light red and a little bit of brown. There's like a really light layer of orange so far. And now for all of our little shadow areas, I'm gonna take this sky blue. So I don't know if you guys can tell just from that, it's a little bit blown out, but so there's like blue on some of these areas, but it's like a super light blue. So I'm just pressing like super lightly, like brushing on it. And orange and blue are complementary, so they're gonna kind of wash each other out and make a neutral color. You want to add it to like shadows that aren't directly in the light still. So I didn't put it along his jawline or his cheekbone or anything, because that's still kind of gonna be in the light, so that might have like more of a greenish undertone, because it's like against the red fleshy color that's like translucent kind of in the light directly. The blue is kind of like graying it out, and this is still just like an undertone thing. So now we're gonna head in with some green. You guys can see that I start to layer certain spots a little bit darker, and I forgot to mention you guys should find some reference of someone's like profile view for this, so that you can see, and with like light shining from top to down right here, because otherwise it might be kind of hard to figure out where to put all this stuff. But because I've done it a lot of times, like I know where the shadows will land. Make sure to go back into the darker areas. So I'd say we have like the base tone with the orange, and then the base shadows, and I haven't pressed so hard that it's gonna not go through. I just pressed like maybe with medium pressure on the darkest spots. So next we should take we'll see what color, this is on my scrap paper. Okay, so see how this light brown has like an orangey tone to it? I don't know if you guys can tell, but like compared to like the orange right next to it, it's browner, but it has the same type of orange tone. So his skin tone is like kind of that color. So we're gonna do like a medium light just wash of his whole face. Okay, so we've done that medium wash now, and now I'm going to do like a little bit darker wash over all of these shadows so that it has like the same type of skin tone. Okay, so I'm noticing that this pencil's a little bit extra waxy, so I'm gonna make sure that there's like enough. Oh my, this is what happens when you drop your pencils. I'm gonna make sure that this has like a little bit of space. Use the side of the pencil and not have to press very hard, because that gives it more of like a fuzzy texture. I'm gonna go back over some of like the spots that are around where, like you'd picture where it'd be hitting the light. I'd say like right here, the light's gonna be hitting maybe a little bit right here and then right here. So I'm gonna avoid those spots, but just around them, I'm gonna make them like a little bit like more saturated. You guys will probably start to notice by this point that he looks like a little bit more alive, but still very dirty and disgusting. This is like one of the most awkward middle stages and happens in every art piece, and you always want to give up, but don't give up. So I'm going to take some of these super bright colors like the orange and the yellow, and we're going to just do a bit like around the highlight, but just color super softly. If you're happy with how it is here, you guys should find a white colored pencil, or if you don't have that, then use this like peachy one and just color like super hard over it. Wait, that's too peach, because basically I want his skin tone to be like a warm brown. I'm gonna layer some more light brown in there. I usually say just don't erase anything, like keep layering, but this is so orange. If this is the one Prismacolor you have, I would say to get the white, because you can just like color over it and it's gonna blend everything together. Okay, and that has blended his skin tone a lot. It looks a little muddy right now still, so we're gonna warm it up quite a bit. And that's when we're gonna use this like mahogany and raspberry and then a little bit of red just for you, because I feel like I should use it. And if you have a spot like this where it looks like, okay, you should probably stop putting color down, like this spot isn't gonna let me really draw very much more, then just go ahead and like put your final colors in that spot. If you guys are feeling like this is a little bit too rainbow and you don't like that rainbowness, even though I like the rainbowness, then take something neutral like a brown umber and just go over some of the parts that you feel like have too much color. Because this would be like a dark brown. It's called umber because like that has to do with darker blues, like a more of a like a duller blue. I'm going for a more saturated look. And if you guys don't like all of this color underneath it, you don't have to lay on some of it so heavily and just replace it with some neutrals like browns or something. Browns are like mixed complementary colors together. Okay, so once you're like mostly satisfied with the face, let's just move on. His hair is like a tannish brownish. I'm just gonna do the same type of layering effect we did for the face by using like just the base color, like a light brown. And by the way, if you notice that we used orange for this part and then the whole face ended up looking more orange, that's not only because we chose orange for like colors, that's because literally our base color is orange. And that's how to use colored pencils better, because if you know how you're layering it from top to bottom, then you can work with it better. So I'm gonna just use that same light brown for his hair so that it doesn't clash with his facial coloring. Okay, and that's like super bright, so I'm definitely gonna go back with that brown umber and all of the shadows now. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back in with that sky blue that's in some of the undertone right here. Okay, now I'm going to use that raspberry color to like emphasize a few of these highlight spots, but don't press too hard if you're using this, because once again it's going to show through the whole thing. And I'm going to use a little bit of bright orange color. I'm going to use this dark brown again and just kind of smooth everything out. And for this part, it's okay if you create very noticeable lines, because this is supposed to be like shaved hair, and normally this would not be a good idea because you're gonna see every single mark you make. Like normally when I'm drawing faces and stuff, I'm gonna follow the lines of the face, like the curvature of it. Alright, so these like rose art pencils for some reason don't have a darker brown. I know you guys have a darker brown than this. Normally they're way darker, and this like umber is just not cutting it, but I'm gonna have to get creative and use this violet color. Okay, so I just made it like basically have a base brown still covering it, and then the last thing I'm gonna do is just add some really like dark blues and violets, keep adding them into the shadows so that it makes it much darker, since these colored pencils, like these cheaper ones, don't have that dark of a brown. At least I kind of lost mine. I know Crayola does, so if you have that, then that's probably better. Oh well, yeah, look at how waxy that is. I'm just gonna stop with that. You can probably use darker colors than I am, but that's why from my experience these cheaper ones just end up looking lighter on the paper. And that's kind of why you have to make sure you're careful while you're blending it out. So I think I'm just gonna do his eye now. That's like a super light blue. I'm gonna use this like a base coat, brighter color for like where the highlight would hit. Okay, and then I like to darken and like saturate the part around the pupils and like a tiny bit around this outer rim of the iris. And that makes it just look like it has a little bit more depth to it. I'm gonna add some more blue to that since these aren't very dark. And so I'm just gonna add some extra details. This spot looks unnaturally light as well, I noticed, so. Oh yeah, and never forget these eyebrows. I don't know if you guys need me to show you the rest, so I'm just gonna time lapse it, and it's up to you how you want to color the rest in. So as you guys can see, I didn't color this fully and it's kind of sloppy, but I wanted to like draw the eye's attention up towards some of the darker spots. So if you want to leave certain parts like less finished, that is something you can definitely do, and it'll help draw the attention towards the more finished parts. That's usually how you would like to manipulate the viewer's eye. I hope this helped you guys. Feel free to like tweet or Instagram or something at me and show me if you color in J. If you guys have anything else you'd like me to show you, like this is mainly about colored pencils and getting better at them and then learning how to layer things. It helps teach you how to use a bunch of other art tools, because colored pencils are not the only thing that look better when they're layered, like watercolor, all types of paints, even like graphite. So I hope that you enjoyed this and that you have a great day, and I will see you again sometime this week. Bye! I could show them to you even closer. Oh! Okay, good job me. Let's just never do that again and just keep drawing. There's an ant. The ant went inside of the colored pencil mug.